What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide. Welcome to episode 1 of the VHS Graveyard. So this is going to be a new video series I do talking about different, parts of my VHS collection and just talk about how they got to be in my collection, sort of my own personal history with those films. So I wanted to start it off with 3 flicks from the 70s, all movies that are very much ingrained in my DNA as a cinematic enthusiast. Okay, so the first movie I'm going to talk about is from 1979. It's directed by Walter Hill, and that film is The Warriors. Now, this is a classic movie. First came to my knowledge when I was a young kid, and it was right around the time when I first saw this that the Rockstar video game came out. So if you're a fan of this flick to any degree, you owe it to yourself to seek out the PlayStation 2 or Xbox version of The Warriors. This is an amazing game. It adds so much plot and story to the movie. Like, once you've played this game, you understand so much more about these characters and how they got to where they are. So this game, by the way, is not cheap to find. You're probably going to spend like $50 on it at this point. It's fucked up, but PlayStation 2, Xbox games, they're on the come up in terms of price. So this particular copy of The Warriors came into my possession via my friend Marky, who is an OG of the NY Warriors comic book group chat, and we've been buddies for basically over a decade. And a couple of years ago, he sent me some stuff, and this was one of the tapes. It's a copy of The Warriors that comes from New York, and I really appreciate that. So this movie obviously stands the test of time. If you're a fan of gang films, this is pretty much like, the gang movie. Like, you can't compare this to a gang film like Colors. You know what I mean? I feel like this is more of it's much more comic booky, but I like how there's not just like for instance in Colors, there's the Bloods, the Crips, and there's like the 21st Street and a White Fence, a few other gangs. With this, there's like a million fucking gangs, and they're all peppered throughout the movie. They have their own identities, their own ways that they conduct business, so to speak. So really good movie. If you've never seen this, dude, The Warriors is fucking sick. And this is for the record, this is the Paramount release of The Warriors. So shout out to my buddy Marky. One cool thing I got to showcase, I never get sick of this. Hopefully I don't fucking make a mess here, but this is my dad's OG copy of War of the Worlds, which is also a Paramount title. This says The Warriors on it, like on right here on the sticker. So there must have been there was clearly a fuck up, but a cool fuck up, because War of the Worlds is also dope. From the 50s, of course. The next film that we're going to talk about is from 1972. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, you might know what this film is going to be. And yes, Clockwork Orange, my dad's OG copy of Clockwork fucking Orange. This is how I first saw the film growing up. Seen it at a ridiculously young age and have never looked back, because this is still, to this day, one of my favorite films of all time. I've talked about it. When I was a kid, I called this movie Bad Alex, and I always wanted to watch it. When I was a kid, I much preferred like the first half of the film, like before he gets arrested. I always liked that half more. And then when I got older, I succumbed to the second half and really enjoy it thoroughly as a whole piece. Ended up reading the novel. I have it here somewhere. It might be downstairs, but very fantastic. This movie, not for children, but a must see. Okay, if you like. This is the Warner Brothers release, by the way. This is the famous yellow spine, yellow and black and white spine. But it's shocking, but at the same time, it's just a very good piece of, it's a good example of looking into the future back then. You know what I mean? Because Kubrick obviously did 2001: A Space Odyssey. This right here is set in the future, but an amazing fucking job with the sound, like the mix of Beethoven with the ultra violence on the screen, all the cool fights that happen in the film, the raids, obviously, like Home Sweet Home, when the Droogies get to that place after their fucking satanic car ride up to the house there, and they just put on their mask and they tear this family to shreds. It's very fucking sad and very fucked up, because I've showed this movie to people for the first times and they're like, dude, what the fuck am I watching? And it's like, you gotta, this movie wasn't meant for people that were not allowed to watch horror films when they were kids. You know what I mean? I've said this before, but like movies like Jurassic Park and fucking Back to the Future, when people tell me though that's their favorite film, to me that says that they weren't allowed to watch Clockwork Orange when they were a kid. You know what I think Malcolm McDowell did a fantastic job as Alex in this film. And again, Kubrick, he's fucking Kubrick. The Shining, Full Metal Jacket. You can't do wrong when it comes to Kubrick, pretty much. So, all right, so the final film of the night is going to be from 1976, directed by Martin Scorsese. I've often cited this film as being my favorite film of all time, horror or other. Taxi Driver. Oh my God. This is a phenomenal example of Scorsese at his fucking strongest. An amazing story about, and also this is my dad's OG copy of Taxi Driver. So like this is how, you know, this is how I seen these when I was a kid, you know, and I got a bunch of other movies from back in the day that I'm going to be showing over the course of the VHS Graveyard. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you fucking, you know, get involved in the comments, and we'll talk about fucking our experiences growing up with this shit, because, you know, it's what laid the foundation for us to be like a movie. Like that's why this fucking shit behind me exists, is because I have a passion for this art form that is storytelling with visual, you know, media. You sit there, you smoke some fucking hash, you let the movie play out, and you just disconnect from reality and enjoy. And then, you know, it either sits with you or it doesn't. And this is the type of movie that really has always sat with me. Again, it's Robert De Niro plays a taxi driver. Like, you've seen this fucking film. I guarantee it. So, to me, it was shocking that, like, this girl was so young. When I was a kid, before I was 12, like, I thought 12 years old was, like, an older kid. And she's a fucking prostitute in this film. You can fuck her in the ass, come in her eye, you know, come her in her pussy. Just no rough stuff. That's, like, the best line in the film when I was a kid. And, you know, when I think about this movie and all the scenes that stand out, like the Easy Andy scene where he buys the guns, later on in the film when he's sitting in the fucking, like his living room pointing the gun at the TV. Like, there's so many different things. When he makes that thing that attaches to his arm so we can spring load the gun out, that's some shit that my dad would have made. And I got buddies that could vouch for that. He's a crafty fuck that would want something like that, okay? Basically, you know, the story of an unhinged maniac trying to do what he thinks is right. And I'm absolutely in love with this film. So, you know, I think that for the first episode of this new series, I picked some classics, all right? I did not want to disappoint, man. So, get a little thumbnail action right here. Maybe we'll go like this. Bam! Thanks for watching, everybody, and leave a 666 in the comments. And also, for anyone interested, I actually do a horror art zine, exploitation cinema as well, called Cinema 187, and this is the latest issue. It's issue 666. It's all satanic. There's a 36-page comic in here. There's like a 9-page comic, a couple of 4-page comics, and a bunch of art from all different artists all over Instagram and different places I found on the fucking greasy web. But I really appreciate everybody that does support the zine. Thanks for watching.